So hello, I'm just gonna hit new game and start this right away because, yeah, I messed up a recording. Well, I didn't mess up, it's just that I decided to make another recording of this because I didn't like what I had out last time, for reasons that, well, since it's never coming out, you won't see. But for the most part, yeah, I did want to play Gnosia, so a short introduction before I get into that is I wanted to play it, but I couldn't play it when it came out on Steam. Obviously, this game's been out for a while, but you're going to see what this game's all about. Social deduction game as we get into the abilities, which I will be commentating over for those who have never seen Gnosia before. So, let's start. So here are my stats. I'm going to go full intuition, but I'll start talking about it. About the stats here. Charisma increases the influential power of your comments and your actions, making others more likely to agree and follow your lead. Intuition allows you to pick up on other people's lies and suspicious behavior, which is what I'm building into. Logic makes it easier for you to convince others you're right. Charm makes you more amicable and thus less likely to be selected for cold sleep, for those basically the daily vote. Performance makes you a better liar and helps you more efficiently get your point across and also not get caught by people who have high intuition. Stealth makes it harder for others to pick up on your malicious intent and makes the Gnosia Mafia traders less likely to target you and pretty much remove you from the game. So that's that. I would normally build somewhat into stealth, but we're just going to make myself useless if I'm Gnosia or a trader. I'm naming... Yeah, so... pause if you need to look at that. I click out. The game goes out of focus when I click out, so it pauses and removes sound. But yeah, pause if you need to look at that, because it's going to zoom by. So I'm approaching this more as I let everything rock. I'm not going to commentate it. I'm going to commentate over unless they're talking about something really important. But for the most part, yeah, we're basically thrown into a situation we don't understand is the shorthand version of this. So, yeah, I'm approaching Gnosia, and I'm pronouncing it that way because that's how the katakana looks. It could be pronounced Gnosia. I might switch in between, but that's how I'm going to be pronouncing it because that's how the katakana is laid out. Again, it could be meant to be in English, and it's the best that they can do, but otherwise, yeah, I'm going to call them Gnosia. But talking about the game as I let this rock through, so again, pause if you need to look at it. Unless you're on mobile, I guess that's gonna really suck. But that's the way I'm gonna play it, so I'm sorry if you don't like that. But moving on, I'm approaching this game more as a game dev of myself, but also as a writer, because there are certain key points of criticism and defenses against those criticisms, or pros that people have talked about for this game where... you know, I see the point in. For the most part, I'm giving Gnosia a pass. In fact, until we get more social deduction game, at least that are single player, which is kind of, might seem odd, but I can see how it can work. And I personally think Gnosia is moderately successful. I have played this before, so, well, obviously I tried to do a recording and failed, but I have touched into it even before that, just to see if I wanted to play the game, like, do videos on it. So, yeah, I don't think I can really stop this. We're all voting for Rockio here. I'm going to pronounce names that way. I actually should have checked. Hopefully I'll correct that by next video. I meant to do that, and I didn't do that, so we're going to see what happens. But yeah, I'm going to be approaching this game in the mind of, well, how do certain things work? Again, you saw me go over the stats. Do the stats just add a flat chance? How much are they affecting? Or am I rolling against characters D&D style? Which seems to be the case with intuition and performance. I kind of know this because, again, I've gone through, I think, 8 to 10 loops around-ish, and I pretty much stopped. That's nowhere near out. I think I still have not... Yeah, by 10 to 12 loops, you probably have not seen all the game mechanics. But as we move into Gnosia as a social deduction game, anyone who's played Mafia, Town of Salem, so on and so forth, and kind of... You'll be able to quickly identify how the game is played because you'll understand the roles involved. For now, though, especially for this video, you may not see them, but we will be getting into them shortly. I'll probably try to do at least 3 to 4 loops per video, but we'll see how it turns out. Meanwhile, SQ here is going to try to convince me that she's Crew, which is the innocent or town member or whatever you want to say. But we're going to call it Crew because that's what the game calls it. And there's Gnosia. An easier way to say it would be traitor, but I'm going to say Gnosia. But I kind of know how these first few loops are going to generally play out. The story is usually not connected to the gameplay in terms of, well, if you're being introduced and learning the mechanics, then the actual, I guess I'll call them matches, or really they should be called loops. Each loop is pretty much completely randomized, save for a few loops. This one being one of the loops where it is already predetermined, so I already know who is Crew and who is Gnosia. And unfortunately, who's also going to end up dying because I cannot save anyone yet. So, Setsu here checks in on me, but again, things that happen in story are sometimes related to gameplay, but if you're looking for who's which role, usually not. But aside from this, I'm going to try to win because I need experience. Unfortunately, for better or worse, the fact that I am my survival as the main character will directly influence the amount of experience I get. I'm going to try to exploit it, which is why I'm not going to roleplay as much, say, from one loop that I know of, but yeah, I'm going to try to survive as long as I can, even if it means throwing other people under the bus, whether I'm Crew or Gnosia, because I need the experience to level up and basically make my experience easier. However, as I move into later loops, that might not be the case, because one of the criticisms for Gnosia, the game, is that it's RNG based whether or not you find everything. But if we're looking at just getting through the story, I don't know. I'm undecided whether or not I'm going to try to see everything. But again, I'll see when I get there, because I've only done 12 loops tops. So, you know. Also, for the first few loops, again, if you're never going to play Gnosia, it's not like I'm really spoiling you, I guess, because you're experiencing the game with me, but I forgot what I was going to say, because I was concentrating on something else. I was concentrating on whether or not, I was focusing on whether or not Setsu could actually be Gnosia this loop. I don't think so. Ooh, well, let's find out. Also, I should have changed my icon, but it was supposed to be blue. I guess I didn't save it. But here we're going to see things. You're also going to see how bad I am at social deduction games, even though I'm playing against technically AI. But, you know, you're going to see. And if nothing else, you, the viewer, can play at home. So if you're yelling at me from behind the screen, then I hope I've done my part. Because I personally believe that when playing Gnosia, or any other social deduction game, or any single-player game that's social, then, yeah, it's more on the person playing, whether you're streaming, creating content, making videos. It is on you to make the experience. In my personal opinion, at bare minimum, I'm gonna rely on myself to make that. Also, I should be checking logs after each one. I need to get better at doing that. But here we are on loop 2. And I think this is when we see our first role, but let's find out. So here you can be the kind of naive protagonist, but at this point, more savvy people, we are we are not going to say that. Not that it probably doesn't change much. So the loop has turned back time. Because of this, the crew member and Gnosia roles have been changed. So yeah, every loop, all roles are randomly assigned. You do get some control later on in case you're trying to farm things, but again, one of the criticisms that people have is that since it's RNG, there will be people who are unlucky and they will never, or it's harder, at minimum, it's a lot harder for people to see every single event in this game. Main story-wise, though, I think it's, well, we'll see. Again, please don't spoil anything for me. I'm going to try my best, but we'll find out. So if you mess up, well, yeah. The moment you vote all Gnosia out, or all Gnosia are eliminated, it should be pretty self-evident, but I'm still probably going to get bamboozled here and there because, yeah, I'm not great at social deduction games. So we're talking about the general rule set, but for anyone who knows, for those who don't know, basically you're trying to vote out any traitors or Gnosia, and the Gnosia are trying to kill everyone. Every night after the day is done, Gnosia get to kill one person, and that their victory condition is to either, well, literally kill everyone or get majority or near enough majority, because then obviously we cannot vote Gnosia out. At the same time, since this is a single-player experience where I'm trying to level up, I need to at least survive as long as I can. Obviously, I think winning gets you more experience, which does ultimately help me out. Not as much because I'm building full intuition before everything else, but we'll see. Also, for these first few loops, I already know I have full immunity, which will be removed later on. But of course, the game is trying to ease you in and introduce you to the mechanics, which I think is something every game should do, no matter if you assume that most people playing already know. But I'm also gonna dogpile on Rockio here, even though it won't. I'm pretty sure it won't matter, but we're being safe. Again, I can't be killed or voted out for these first few loops, so it's in my interest to make use of this and try to survive and win. That way I get experience. Another piece of criticism about this game is that the dialogue options are generic. I kind of understand why it needs to be that way, because otherwise we could go into a full debate on whether or not on both the pluses and minuses, but the basic part is if you make everything generic, that might be a bit troublesome to say. It might be a bit troublesome to say, but it does make the programming the game easier. On the other hand, though, the biggest negative is that, well, it turns some people off in that, oh, it's just sentence with a variable of the person's name that they are suspecting or defending, which I understand that is a legitimate piece of criticism. On the opposite side, if you make every line of dialogue unique, say X character always speaks to Y character in this way, you have to account for people memorizing or looking up what those lines mean. You know, maybe you get people to misunderstand that they're reading too much into a line when it means nothing. But, you know, it's both ways. I have my own ways I would probably deal with it. I personally try to make my lines of dialogue unique, but the minus side to making every piece of dialogue unique is that you can also you might get people who go, well, if every piece of dialogue is the same, why does it matter what they say is any different? So you can bounce that around. Every person has their own opinion, but you know, we deal what we deal. I can see both sides. Both sides have their good examples and bad examples. I think Gnosia, the way it works is fine, but again, maybe that's just me as well. But I understand why people say, well, when people suspect or doubt is what this game is calling it, SQ gets offed by the Gnosia, then it is a turnoff for people. So at this point, I think, you know what, I'm going to... So here we learn our first role is the engineer. Engineer can, well, we'll see if the game says something. So yeah, the engineer can investigate one person per warp and can determine whether or not they are Gnosia. There's only one engineer at a time. So, of course, Setsu's also going to claim engineer. That's how I'm going to say it. But we'll see what happens here. Again, I want to win because it's better for my experience that I win. So, I'm the one who chooses who lives and who gets voted out because they're going to vote each other. So I need to do my best. Of course, day 1 and 2, and with this many members, it might be hard to win or lose as both Crew and Gnosia. But, you know, I'm going to try my best to survive. Granted, what I was saying was day 1 taught us nothing because I think we all voted Rockio, so it's a 50-50 toss-up. I'm going to go with my gut and say Gina, even though we got the line, but maybe the game automatically selects... Maybe it cheats you out, but let's see. So we'll see if Setsu is Gnosia here, because if that's the case, nope, I'm dead. Gosh dang it. So the thing is, what I'm saying here is why I'm mad about this is kind of miffed off is because so here you can check the results, and I should be checking this later on. But here, I think in loop 2, it maybe no matter what it says, it pairs you with Gnosia. So maybe Gina was, because the last times I did it, Gina was Gnosia on this specific loop. But at the same time, story-wise, the game is trying to push you to protect Gina. But I was trying not to do anything weird. Anyway, loop 3. Here we're introduced to more crew members, so now we have Shikamichi, who is, you know what, I feel like the devs or whoever made the decision just decided, oh, you know what, let's use another design. And we are introduced to Stella, who is the archetype gentle, nice girl, unless she's Gnosia, of course, but, you know, if she's crew, she's the nice girl of the bunch. Granted, as a single-player experience, I think well, yeah, you look like an alien, dude. I think it's a good, it's good to give each character their personality, both in-game and as a visual novel, I guess, if you want to treat Gnosia as a kind of visual novel. However, there's a lot more gameplay than, well, if we're looking at the quantity, the gameplay heavily outweighs. Anyway, this time there are 2 Gnosia present. If an engineer comes forward, the report may provide clues as to who could be Gnosia. The most important piece of information is that there are 2 Gnosia now. I think I can check here as well. This might be spoiling it, but you know what? I'll use everything to my advantage. So 7 crew, 2 Gnosia, 1 engineer. But we'll wait and see because my stealth level is completely low. I know I cannot be killed or voted off, but at least try to get information. So Setsu and Stella Setsu and SQ are suspecting Stella. No one defended her. SQ gonna keep dogpiling. Shikamichi is going to join in. And so what I was saying about personality is that each personality does influence them in game as well. So some characters are more, if you're looking at things basically by function or the technical side, that means that they are more inclined to do certain actions or act certain ways than anything else. Also, Rakio suspecting Shikamichi right now. And then suddenly Setsu turns on SQ. Did she catch her in a lie? Did Gina protect her as well? Yeah, Gina defended SQ. Also, my nose is really... I took medicine, my nose still sounds nasally. Goodness. Stella suspects Setsu, but I think Stella is... not Gnosia this one? I'm gonna find out. Hopefully I get it right. Anywho. Again, for those at home, you can play along as I go through pieces of information. So let's see what happened. Stella suspects Setsu. Rakio defends Setsu. Setsu suddenly turned on SQ. Well, actually, SQ defended agreed with Setsu that Stella's suspicious. Shikamichi defends Stella. Rakio suspects Shikamichi. Setsu now suspects SQ. Genus defends SQ. If we're working on if you're playing at home, you can listen to me, but I highly suggest you play at home as well. But with my prior knowledge, I'm assuming Stella's crew. If Stella's crew, that means I'm gonna say Setsu's maybe crew? Because she caught SQ in a lie. But from how we're voting, I'm gonna vote SQ then. Nope. We have a 3-way tie. So apparently what happens in this game if people tie a second time is that nothing happens, which may or may not be good, but... I'm gonna push SQ here because I have the power to. Because later on when I no longer have immunity because my stealth is at base level or pretty much trash, me speaking out will get me killed or voted off, depending. Setsu's gonna jump on Stella again. Here I'm gonna defend. I need Stella on my side because I know she's crew, or that's my belief, but we'll see what happens. I'm still voting SQ, by the way. Really? We voted Stella off immediately? Well, that's interesting. Because Stella should be the one interacting with me, but since she got voted off immediately... Oof. Well, let's hope. Apparently it says increase your trust, but if anything else, visiting people at least tells you who is on your side. So yeah, Shikamichi definitely not on my side. No friends, and I alienated SQ. And SQ's disappeared, so she wasn't Gnosia. So now I have no credibility. So I'm just gonna wait and see again. Shikamichi's asking for engineers to step forward. Maybe Stella was Gnosia. If Stella was Gnosia, which is what I'm gonna believe now. She's not gonna report anything? Really? What did she say? Did she say Setsu is human? What is that? Well. Setsu suspecting Shikamichi. Rakio also suspects Shikamichi. Let's find out. Do I go hard and defend Shigemichi? Because if Stella was Gnosia, who sided with? I'm gonna go simple caveman with this. So who defended Stella? Oh, Shigemichi defended Stella. But SQ was crew apparently, because Gnosia can't kill each other. I'm pretty sure. So she said Stella was suspicious. If that's the case, I need to go along with anyone with SQ. So Setsu's Gnosia, or I'm going to assume Setsu's Gnosia. I'm going to assume Gina's crew? Yeah, I'm going to assume Gina's crew then. So let's defend, or let's go with whatever SQ does. Really? You defend it? Maybe she doesn't know. Maybe she's going crazy. When I say go crazy, I mean, they have no idea what they're talking about. Me included, but oh my goodness, they suddenly... Is Gina really not crew? Oh, we're all going crazy here. I'm not gonna trust Setsu, but I'm assuming Gina's crew, so here you go. I at least need some point of friends. I have no idea. I'm gonna vote Setsu though. Oh, she voted Shigemichi. Okay, well, Shigemichi is going into code sleep. Let's find out if he was Gnosia or not. Otherwise, well, Gina, I hope you're not Gnosia. Oh, well, she wasn't. I was right. I have to choose between Setsu and Rakio. I get no information here, by the way. Or, okay, she's Rakio's Gnosia, I guess. So, that was a mistake. Because I know I'm not Gnosia, and there's no way... I can't be killed by Gnosia or voted off, so all you did, Rakio, was kill yourself. Anywho, unless Setsu's magically Gnosia... Oh, well, no, Rakio has no reason... She can't lie, right? So, I'm gonna assume... Yeah, I'm gonna assume Rakio's Gnosia at that. That was a very poor play. Of course, I'm using kind of meta-level play, but, you know. Alright, so when you get this message, then you know crew have won for sure, unless something weird happens. But all Gnosia have been put into cold sleep, so now we are with Setsu this run. So, you may have gotten a clue here, but Setsu seems to know more. So me and the main character and Setsu seem to be aware of both loops. Yeah, so Shigemichi was Gnosia, Raku was Gnosia, and Stella was crew. So we just end up offing a bunch of people. If Setsu stepped up as engineer, it might have... Well, Rakio said I was Gnosia, which was her end, because there's no way I'm Gnosia, and I can't be voted on based on my current immunity, so... Yeah. Anyway, on to the next one. Not really much to look into for that one, so... I don't get to level up yet, but here we are on loop 4, and we're in front of Shigemichi now. This time I'm the engineer, so we discover Gnosia. However, that does not mean everything it should mean, so it's not an all-seeing role, but I mean, it is a very important role, as anyone who knows social deduction games should know. Whether that's investigator, detective, whatever you want to call the role, that is what engineer is. So yeah. So now the game advises you to always step forward when you do this. I'm just gonna do what it's told, but here now I know that. Now that I know that Gina is Gnosia, so we have one more Gnosia to find, because there are 7 crew, 2 Gnosia. So let's wait and see. At the same time, again, I know I have immunity, so if I find the other Gnosia, it's pretty much over. Unless, you know, the crew just goes completely insane. But we're going to keep waiting and seeing. So they're going to go... So who proposed Shigemichi as suspicious first? As I turn around and make sure everything's okay. I don't want to shoot my any credibility I have down, because all I have going for me is intuition. So I really need to be careful with what I decide. Everyone's might be voting Shigemichi though. I'm gonna vote Gina because I know that's pretty much a safe one for me. But yeah, so he's gonna go. And we're gonna find out. So it doesn't help because since Gina is guaranteed Gnosia. Oh, here's the one. Okay, now I know Stella is crew for sure. So this is the loop. This is the loop where Stella is definitely crew because I think they're introducing another role here. But if you don't know, then you can think whatever you want. But yeah, so since I'm engineer, I know I can't die, but I'm definitely not dying anymore. And I think Stella's gonna die no matter what. Let's see here. Alright. I think I get a chance to look into people, right? I don't think there's any point. So I'm just gonna check Setsu here really quickly. Or explore here. But I will be looking into... So I know Stella's crew. I'm gonna check Setsu. And Setsu's Gnosia. So, there we go. I know who the two Gnosia are. So I need to get SQ and or Rakio on my side. So they're introducing the Guardian Angel role. Lore-wise, so what happens is the Gnosia attack during Time Warp, which is how the day ends. Everyone goes to sleep, and the ship goes through a Time Warp. But the Guardian Angel hacks that so that the Gnosia mess up, because they can only attack during Time Warp. A Guardian Angel is able to protect a single crew member, not including themselves, from Gnosia attack. There's only one Guardian Angel at a time. So, yeah. I know Setsu's Gnosia, and yeah, we're going to report here just so we have the information. I know Rakio is not Gnosia, so I'm going to cover Rakio, and I need to suspect Setsu. So, let's not talk about Stella yet. Actually, I don't... let's see if I can do this. I wonder if there's any way... Okay, well... if she is, then I can't protect her. Yeah, so obviously the Doctor or Guardian Angel in this case doesn't want to get found out because there's no way to protect the Guardian Angel, which means they're dead. I'm going to agree with Rakio so that we can dogpile, but whether or not we can, I think Stella's a guaranteed death here because there's no way to save. Anywho, yes, I know that SQ is crew, but it's important that she does that because that introduces more actions, which is definite human is a logic type skill, which I have no logic, used to prove that the target is definitely human or can absolutely be trusted. So there's no evidence, it's only just hearsay, but I don't know what that guarantees. I think for at least anyone who uses the action can guarantee, but again, so I'm going to vote Setsu and hope nothing bad happens. Oh my goodness. Setsugina Rakio. Well, I don't... That's a 66% chance, but I'm trying to out Setsu right now. So I'm going to cover Rakio here. And, yeah, the Gnosia are trying to... They're trying to, get her out. So I'm going to take the leader role, because I'm immune to everything. And let's start the vote. I'm going to vote Setsu. Please don't vote out Rakio. Okay, well, they voted out Gina. That's fine. That means Setsu is going to kill Stella here, and there's nothing I can do to stop that. So, Stella is lamenting her fate. And we're going to vote out Setsu after that. So we'll do what little we can, but... Again, there's nothing happened. Fade to black, but, you know, it's the friendly thing. I know Setsu is Gnosia, so I'm just going to do this just to have fun. Or, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. I should have tried to get everyone's hopes up, because I just wanted to see if I could reveal, but no, it just says human or Gnosia. So, yeah. I mean, I probably said nothing, but we're going to agree here and hope that SQ joins us, because if SQ doesn't join us, I'm going to be really sad. So yeah, Rakio has definite enemy as well. Definite enemy is a logic type skill used to point out that the target is definitely an enemy, note the syntax, to the humans. So, oop, I skipped past that. But basically, logic abilities have their use. I didn't know what it said, so I'm just going to assume that's the case. So let's collaborate another action. She's going to try to team up with Rakio in the middle of the debate. And for some reason, Rakio refuses, but whatever. Oop, I didn't say that. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, goodness. Well, I'm going to vote Setsu. Please vote Setsu. Okay, good. Alright, and I feel like that dialogue, you know, people talked about, I mean, I understand what people mean by the voting or the debate dialogue. However, I feel like right before they get frozen or certain points, the dialogue does change based at least on likability. So yeah, Gina Setsu, we knew that. Stella Guardian Angel, she protected me, quote unquote. We can check that here. So she protects me here. So I do have immunity, but the game is trying to introduce me and everyone else that the Guardian role does have its own thing. So Setsu tries to attack me, Stella protects me, and now they suss out, quote-unquote, story-wise and gameplay-wise, that Stella is the Guardian Angel, so they remove that because the Guardian Angel cannot protect themselves. And yeah, that's the end of that loop.